With the President's approval of the review of the next phase of the ease of the lockdown, many are looking to understand the guidelines and protocols that will guide this process in the states where they live. To discuss this further, I'm being joined live from Abuja by a professor of public administration in the University of Abuja, Professor Isaac Obasi. Thanks a lot for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you, Joma.
Now, looking at what the PTF said today, they talked about relying on science, data, and the experience of other nations. But when you look at the experience elsewhere, there's a peak and then there's a reduction in numbers before you see a gradual opening. We're opening up, even though our numbers are going up. Do you think this is the best?
There's a dilemma. And that dilemma, I think, is agonizingly worrisome. Ordinarily, we shouldn't go the way we are going right away. But what obtains in our country is a little bit different, too, from what obtains in other countries. The level of stimulus package and support, palliatives, is quite different in some of these other countries than in ours. So the extent to which you can extend the lockdown, much longer, puts a lot of pressure and tries to drive the patience of people to a limit that is beyond them to accommodate. So there is that rising tension between life and livelihood, and also puts a lot of pressure on policymakers about what options to go. I had thought today, in my opinion piece today in Sunday at Post Media, that actually government should have adopted a flexible policy further. They've been adopting sectorial flexible policy, which I support. And I thought they would have extended that to educational institutions as they did now to churches and mosques. So what do I mean by that? You adopt a policy segmentation where you give certain allowances for some to start, but in a gradual form. I give an example. In educational sector, I've suggested, for instance, or expected today, that the private education sector across levels should have been given permission to start. They have the capacity to maintain and comply to the etiquettes, social distancing and hygiene etiquettes. They are able to do that. Classrooms, class sizes are lower, they're smaller than public universities. Even in some other countries, this principle has been applied. I expected that to happen, but I also expected that across the sectors, exam classes should go on, because that will not congest the school facility, infrastructure facility, and you'll be able to maintain social distancing in the exams that are being taken. If you're taking work, it happens at the same time in public and private sector. So two will go. If you want to apply the policy of 2 shifts system, you can say, okay, private sectors, you are in a bid to do that. You have smaller classrooms. Can you do that? If you can do that, open. Those that can meet that condition, let them stay, if they are not exam classes. Well, I expected that segmentation. If you come to churches and mosques, fine. People have been itching to go to church. I'm an ardent morning mass goer, but I don't. I know the Nigerian behavior until I see it change. I don't see Nigerians in respecting social distancing the way we want in the churches. But if they are able to do what you observed in a church in Siwa yesterday by 8 o'clock, they were able to hold masses in 5 places. But even at that, people were still crowding to the main chapel, the main church premises, which was televised live. So Nigerian mentality is yet still not have changed. Business as usual rules drives them. You find a father telling people right in the church, put your mask. I had my mask here. I'm only told I should remove it because identification is important if I'm talking. That's what I'm told. Otherwise, my first mask is here. The priest was announcing repeatedly. People did not. Some covered their mouth and left their nose. And in the church premises or worship centers, People talk. People talk. They don't keep quiet. And the risk is high. It's a crowd-pulling arena. So somebody has said today, I picked it before coming here, that if you allow churches where children will go, parents, old parents will still come, whom you are fearing that let them not be infected. Why then the same children you said don't go to school? The minister appears to me a little bit idealistic. I am a supporter of the policies they have rolled out, but there is idealism in it. They are not a little bit, what do you call it, pragmatic. You needed to know that schools must start. You begin to test. You stay with private schools, and then public schools will come later. And you prepare for the public schools through infrastructure. And through what Lagos State has announced just the other day, 2,000 teachers to be employed. This is preparation for the opening up. So let's see these things happen, and you begin to gradually open up. What government announced today is realization. I've combed media houses, or many of them are even the one facing me in the channels now, is lifting restrictions. It is realization. The restrictions are there. The churches and mosques must follow PTF guideline. Secondly, they must follow the guidelines agreed by the states. Which means if the states rolls out a guideline that you, a church in my state, should follow, they should follow it. So it's not just lifting the lockdown and everybody troop and do the business as usual worship. This is the
Professor
time to
of Public Administration,
God
I'm afraid I'm going to have to come
spirit.
in there, Prof. Yes, the guidelines are extensive, and state by state, they will look at them. Unfortunately, I have to come in there, Prof. Apologies for that. Of the University of Abuja, Professor Isaac Obasi. Thank you for sharing those thoughts with us on the news at 10 tonight. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Joma.